time. Another brother better, you will never find. I've been in my bag like groceries. Competition shouldn't take shots, take notes, please. Reporting live from the winning side. Ready to try, keep a different vibe. Is you down the ride, never tired. You will never know, you ain't never tried. Work it out, hit the gym, hit the field, hit the win. Hey yo, I need that. Big chips, man, I need that. Hustle hard, on the job, you can see that. On my head is real good, we don't need your feedback. They clear the way with my crew coming through. What I do? Lace up the shoes, chase W's. What I do? Lace up the shoes, chase W's. Now what I do? Lace up the shoes, chase W's. Million beats, leave it in the street, case on the news.
What I do? Lace up my shoes, chase W's. Great colored coops. Oh no, I can't be number 2. MVP the league most valuable. They sweet as apple juice. Talking trophies, I done grabbed a few. Can't match this attitude. I wear my heart.
A double dip for the Bills at MetLife Stadium. It's the coach. This is week 2 of the NFL on EA Sports. Coming up, the Bills played the Jets at MetLife Stadium last weekend. Now they get their shot at the Giants on the same field. I'll talk to you again at halftime with a look at games in progress. But first, it's up to Jazzy. Standing by, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
And thank you, Coach. We are across the Hudson from Midtown Manhattan at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. This is the scene just before we came on air. This New York crowd fired up by the arrival of their G-men as they burst from the locker room. They're ready to go as the Giants get set to match up with the Buffalo Bills. Alongside my partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, you take a look at this Giants ball club. They come in off a good win on the road, and now they hit the home opener at 1-0.
And the offense last week, they had things humming. If you're a defensive player, you may get overshadowed a little bit, but you're really buoyed by what your offense is doing.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Bills, they come into this one after a loss in the opener, and they're in for another tough test here.
And what a battle for an organization to look at your schedule and see 2 road games to start the season and not have a letdown immediately. You've got to fight against that. They've got to come out ready to play.
The children will groan. It's the final weekend of summer, but we've got the NFL, and we're underway on EA Sports. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Bills being led out by their quarterback, the 7th overall pick of the 2018 draft. It's Josh Allen. Of course, the Bills, they've been looking for a franchise quarterback for a number of years, and now they think they have their guy. He certainly had his moments as a rookie, including an impressive win in Minnesota in his second NFL start. Now a man closing in on 15,000 career rush yards, Frank Gore. And he's upended at the 33 following a good pickup of 8. The numbers for Gore on the ground last week: 13 carries, 55 yards.
And to me, the goal is the exact same thing as last week. Get him the ball early and often. I think he's got another big game in him in this one.
Now on second down, this is Gore.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Well, I think that's what they're going to need to do here in the first half. You've got to take some pressure off of this young quarterback, and no better way to do it than to establish the running game early.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Play action. Now it's Allen. And the throw left sideline here is caught, but they'll rule it incomplete. Couldn't keep his feet in. Second down. Now let's take a look here at the Bills offense.
When you play as well and as hard as Frank Gore, you get a chance to tour the NFL. How about his first 10 years in San Francisco, 3 in Indianapolis, a year in Miami, now starting his first year in Buffalo and his 15th NFL season, the game's active leading rusher and 4th all-time.
And this time he's going backwards. So after the no gain on the last attempt, here they get him behind the line.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
third and long. It's Allen. And that will be incomplete. Had to pass there, third and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything.
That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for third and short, because when it's third and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the first down, even throwing the football.
Oh, look at the juke. So now here are the Giants as they'll get their first opportunity here. And they will be led out by their 6'3" quarterback.
And what I'm looking for from him today, the things every quarterback is looking to do. Lead his team to a victory. Doesn't matter whether he's throwing it, running it, handing it off, however he has to do it, as well as exhibiting some leadership, that's what he's trying to accomplish.
Here we go. Set. 15 Lonnie, 15 Lonnie.
Running it with the NFL's Offensive Rookie of the Year a season ago, Saquon Barkley.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
So that one will be accepted.
Here we go. Here we go.
Automatic first down.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. Back to throw. Bell. Flushed out right. And he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not. That sack by Tremaine Edmonds. They'll come up after the sack on a 2nd and 12. The toss out to Barkley. They find some open field here. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. A gain of 28 yards there and give him a first down. That's something we saw over and over again in Barkley's rookie season. He had 91 catches last year, most ever by a rookie running back. Part of a fantastic rookie campaign that saw him go over 2,000 total yards. So 1st and 10 now in Buffalo territory at the 41. Looking to throw. Bell flush to his right. And that is incomplete. Showed off the arm strength there, but to no avail. 2nd down. And we take a look now at the New York offense.
An offensive line play is not something that comes to mind readily, but it's always a big key in a ball game. And already these guys, they're getting it done up front, as we've seen this rushing attack have some early success.
Here now is 2nd and 10, again from the 41. To throw again. Bell. Catch made by Slayton. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. 27 yards there, a first down. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Well, they're piecing together a nice drive to start this one. Seems pretty scripted and pretty successful so far.
And I think they did it without our help. Because you remember when we sat in the production meeting with them to talk about this, and hey, you know, how you guys going to come out of the gate? I know I offered my help with a few plays, and they didn't seem to want it.
I didn't offer mine.
You know, you were the smart one. Whatever they're doing, though, it's working really well.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Bell. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. He was looking for Evan Ingram, the tight end. And it's 3rd down. Sometimes those guys taken in the 7th round, you can think, oh, maybe he's just happy to be in the league. I don't think that's the case here.
And you know those actor friends that we have? How do they start every script?
Don't have any actor friends.
What's my motivation, right? Well, this guy's motivation is you get picked in the 7th round, so no one expects you to make the team, let alone have an impact. And we know plenty of guys have done exactly that as 7th rounders.
And you take a look at this draft class from a season ago, really it grades out as a pretty darn good class.
So you have to give a lot of credit to the entire scouting organization. General manager, personnel department, college scouts, it all came together. They evaluated it very well and got a nice payoff.
Now Saquon Barkley and fights through one man, and he won't get there. They stop him a few yards short of the line to gain. The Giants go on 4th but come up empty. And the Bills are going to get the football back. Well, they were looking for a clutch play there on 4th, unable to come up with it.
How about that defense, though, huh? How about that D?
Yeah, momentum swing.
And, you know, I remember playing how much 4th downs were emphasized, you know, because, as you said, it's a momentum play. It's also a big test for you, you know. If people are going to go for it on 4th down, they believe you're not up to the challenge. You want to show them differently.
On play action, Allen, he's going deep for Brown. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off around the 41. And they'll start with great field position at the 41-yard line. That, Charles, the first interception he's thrown here in year number 2.
And I know it's just the first one, but didn't it feel like what we saw from him last year, where he was plagued by this type of a play? And they thought that, you know, over the offseason, going into a second season, some of that would go away. Thus far, still looks a lot like his rookie year.
Off play action, Bell. That's caught by his tight end, Evan Ingram. And he will take it on in for a Giant touchdown. Evan Ingram, his 3rd touchdown now on the year, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. Heck of a start to his season. He had 2 touchdowns in the opener last week, another one here in week 2.
Well, I don't want to call him a touchdown machine this early, but sometimes you get locked in, you know, and you feel good about things. You get into that zone, and those touchdowns come in bunches. He may be off to that kind of a start.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon. I would imagine success this early, great momentum going forward for the rest of the year.
He keeps this up, they'll soon be chanting MVP anytime he touches the ball.
Rosas true blue on the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. And we can break that scoring drive down pretty easily. One play, long touchdown pass into the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes Josh Allen and the Bills offense back onto the field. And he'll look to rebound from the early interception that led to 6 points the other way.
And when he threw the interception and he had to come to the sideline, I guarantee his first thought wasn't about the interception itself, but what could result. And I know he was thinking to himself, come on, defense, bail me out. Well, they weren't able to in this situation. Now he's got to go out and atone for it himself, but he can't force things.
Time to look at the defensive starters for the New York Giants. They're going to need to be strong against the run in this one.
And that's a ranking that feels good, right? To be number 1 and be the top of your profession. But here's the problem. It's only week 1.
1 week, yeah.
Can they do it 15 more times? If so, then we really got something to talk about.
That's the challenge. Gore. And this time he's not going anywhere. They'll get him down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6. On play action, Allen. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Credit Julian Love with a pass breakup. The Bills send the punter out as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. On the return, it's Tate. Call it a 48-yard punt. Give them 9, though, on the return. And it'll be Giant football 1st and 10.
Here we go.
The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. Escaping the pressure. And he is going to go down. They sack him on the final play of the first quarter. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. Back to throw. Bell. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
On every offensive coordinator, every play caller sheet, they have about 5 or 6 plays per game that they call shot plays or big plays, and you don't get many opportunities to dial them up, and they just did, and they drop it with a great chance to make a big play. That's going to hurt. A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
They'll run with Barkley. He's got a 1st down and then some at midfield. The 30, 10, and all the way in. Touchdown, New York. Saquon Barkley, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Giants are able to add on to their lead. Good start to the season for him. He had the touchdown last week in the opener and a 2nd one in week 2 now.
How about the pace he's already established, right? Not sure he can keep it up for an entire season, but don't burst the bubble because he thinks that he can.
Do guys go into a season with a goal for touchdown scored or yardage? What do you think?
I think every single one of the guys who's going to touch the football, they all have those types of goals. They all have those types of thoughts. And then they just have to see how the season unfolds if they can stay with it.
Unfolding so far so good for him. PAT up and good by Rosas. And it's now 14-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. John Brown now heading back onto the field as he gets set to go here. Looking down at the stats here, realizing he has no catches. They've targeted him twice, but no catches. So how do they get him more involved, Charles?
You make sure he touches it on routes that he likes to run. Maybe even run a reverse or some type of a jet sweep so he gets his hands on the ball and get him active and involved in the game. You just try and find ways to get him going, and it doesn't have to be something that's big downfield.
Maybe kind of like in basketball, just a shooter seeing the ball go through, you get him a rep, get him more comfortable.
I agree with that totally. Maybe set that solid screen and give him an easy look.
Well, to this point, no catches. And they're able to get this one across the 35. 14 yards, and the Bills will get a new set of downs. On 1st down, it's Gore. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. The loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. You mentioned very early on the need to establish a running game for this young QB. They really haven't been able to do that, though, in the first half.
So that means what in halftime? Adjustments time, right? Figure out what they are, figure out the things that they really want to accomplish, and who to run behind. Which are your better blockers? Find those guys and get in that direction.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Now Allen. It's caught. Smith. And he can only get this to the 42-yard line, and that is not near enough. They do get 9, but it leads to 4th down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, like hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame and hope he can scatter some bodies, unable to get it done.
He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Now this is fielded in the end zone. It takes a touchdown-saving tackle to bring him down as he goes 32 yards on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Off the edge, Jerry Hughes gets the sack.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Looking to throw. Bell eluding the pressure right. The tight end, Rhett Ellison with it. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. He was out there waving his arms, and when you got a quarterback out of the pocket looking for any help, I guess waving the arms is helpful.
It certainly is, because you got to get his attention, because now you're in scramble drill. So everyone's adjusting their routes, finding open space, and he found the right spot for the completion.
And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. Well, they were in search of a short gain on 3rd down, and they wind up nabbing over 20 yards. This quarterback now 5 out of 10, 50% throwing it. Not so hot, but he does have a first down. A reminder coming up at halftime, we'll head to Orlando. Standing by there, Jonathan Coachman. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL in his 2nd week of the regular season. There's a ball thrown right side and complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A good pickup there, 26 yards. A lot of eyes on Golden Tate this year to see if he can take over some of the production that OBJ had before he got shipped to Cleveland. You know, Beckham had 1,000-yard seasons 4 of his 5 years in New York. Golden Tate struggled at the end of last year in Philadelphia, but he had a really good run in Detroit, including 3,000-yard seasons in the middle of this decade. Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. Flushed out right. Now he'll pull it down. Touchdown, Giants. I'm pretty sure that was a passing play, but he took off pretty quickly and ran with it.
Love his decisiveness on it, because you're exactly right. He was supposed to go back in the pocket and survey the field and throw the football. But when that hole opened, he just said, forget it, let's go. And boy, did that work out well.
Rosas now to add the PAT. And it is now 21-0. That time a 6-play drive and was polished off by the touchdown run from the 16-yard line. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Josh Allen leads the offense out for their next possession. In 2nd quarter, they're down big already. He's struggling as well. They've got to find something here. He's got to find something on this drive.
And sometimes you take on all that extra pressure on yourself, and maybe you have to disperse it a little bit. Lean on some other people. Lean on your teammates. Find someone who can take the pressure off and get the ball in their hands for a while.
Or this, if he doesn't, this is getting out of hand, or it could get worse. Try again on 2nd down. And this one complete to Smith. Oh, it's out. Smith lost it. And the Giants have it. It's picked up. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me, because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. Throwing to start the drive. Bell. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. And this is Shepard on the catch. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. A really nice gain of 25 yards. Goal line offense, something they've really been emphasizing in practice lately. Now they have a chance here to put all that hard work to use. They'll buy some time right. And now he's going to use... And he will score! Touchdown, Giants! It's their quarterback. On his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Giants are able to add on to their lead. We've seen this already from him in this game. Second time he's into the end zone with a rushing touchdown.
So the head coach is going to have a meeting with the owner this week. You know why? He's got to let the owner know, I know you wrote the check for his arm, but we're going to make him a part of our running game too. This guy can do it all. Let's see where he takes us.
Rosas good with the extra point, and the route is on here in this first half. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And in the end, it's capped off by a 7-yard run. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. Now on the return here, we've got an injured player down there. We'll get an update when we return to MetLife Stadium. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. I mean, you've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
Okay, Brandon, we'll get you back to you and Charles in a bit, but first it's time for a trip around the NFL following an eventful opening weekend. Let's see what's happening in Week 2. We'll start with one of the best rivalries in the NFL. Dallas on the road in our nation's capital. And it's the Redskins who have the lead in that one. Darius Geis, the lone touchdown there as he's cashed one in on the ground. From there, we'll head to Pittsburgh to check on the Steelers at home at Heinz Field. And at halftime, they trail the visiting Seahawks in that ball game. 2 touchdown passes there for Russell Wilson. Finally, let's get you to Baltimore. Check on the Ravens at home at M&T Bank Stadium. And that game level as they take on the visiting Arizona Cardinals. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Second half ready to get rolling. The Giants with a lead, and they are set to receive this kick. This will be fielded at the 6. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. Here he is, the man taking the snaps under center, heading out for the next possession. And maybe he's starting to wave the white flag a little bit. He's playing pretty well, but the pressure, it's got to him.
Has to find a way to step around it, step through it, or just handle it. Because as you mentioned, he's having a pretty good day overall. Just the hits keep coming and taking those sacks. That's not the way that they want to finish a ball game with their quarterback on the ground so much.
He'd like to stay upright. When he's been upright, he's been pretty good. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Throwing to start the drive. Bell. Flush to his right. He's going to take off with it. Able to make something out of nothing there. 17 yards and a first down. We've seen the pressure get to him several times in this game. There, though, we see him escaping.
And we've seen this rookie video before as well. That type of pressure, oftentimes what do you resort to? Your legs, try and escape. What you hope is that this doesn't become habit for him, that he learns how to handle the pressure, still keep his eyes downfield, and make some throws.
A good pickup there, 21 yards. And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
Takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective.
They go play action here on first down. Tate bringing it in for the Giant touchdown. Golden Tate, his first touchdown of the new season as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. So a one-handed grab in the end zone. Nothing much more rewarding than that for a guy catching it.
Not at all. And with what we just saw there, that type of a one-handed catch, what's next? Maybe they go up and almost Velcro it with their jersey in the ball. That's about all that's left. That play, simply spectacular.
So a one-handed grab in the end zone. Not much more impressive than that. PAT up and good by Rosas. And that will extend this big lead. So that drive, 4 plays. And it was polished off by a Giants touchdown. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. A reminder coming up later tonight, Sunday Night Football, a good one from Atlanta. Eagles and Falcons, 8:20 Eastern. And then tomorrow on Monday Night Football, Odell Beckham back in New York, back in MetLife Stadium. Browns and Jets, 8:15 Eastern on Monday night. Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. A run there on first down gets 3 up to the 28. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. To the air. Allen throwing middle, but it's incomplete. Robert Foster, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd down. They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on 2nd down. From the gun, it's Allen. And this one caught by Beasley. And this effort will not get it done. He stopped well short of the first down at the 29.
Partner, I think that completion takes the definition of dink and dunk to a different level, doesn't it?
It does, and the defense was right there, kind of played into their hands. Now it's Tate. Oh, he shifts past him. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So now the Giants set to take over on offense. Last week they got a good victory over the Dallas Cowboys, and they are in the driver's seat here right now as well. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Back to throw. Bell. Escaping the pressure right. Eluding the pressure right. He completes it to Tate. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 23 yards on the play.
Sometimes it's designed, and sometimes you just have to know when to leave the pocket and move and make something happen. And on that play, he was able to get on the run and was still accurate throwing the football.
Tight end to the right, boy. Tight end to the right.
On first down, Bell. It's hauled in by Shepard. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Offense.
That's on Kevin Zeitler, acquired in the Odell Beckham trade.
Here we go. 50, 49, 49, guys.
Mike, 49.
Looking to throw. Bell. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And that is caught. One-handed. Oh, my, he pulled it in. It's a big-time play there for the G-men. 51 yards. A one-handed catch, that's one thing, but with a defender right there, that was a heck of a play.
It used to be that one-handed catch was instinctive in a game. Now it's a practiced move. They work on it before, after, during practice sessions. It becomes part of their repertoire, and it pays off.
Okay, ready?
They'll come out in the pistol.
Gotta do better. Come on, Sid, go!
Operating from the gun. Bell flushed out right. He'll get this out to Barkley, complete. And he will take it on in for a giant touchdown. Saquon Barkley, his second touchdown of the game, his third on the year, as his guys continue to pour it on. And the touchdown all set up by the big play one snap before, but they finish it off here with a shorter completion, this time for the score.
I like how they stuck with what got them there, right? The big pass play, got the momentum going, right? You create it with a play like that, and you come right back with another pass play to finalize things off.
Rosas true blue on the extra point, and the lead will swell by one more. Scoring summary, 3-play drive, and it was finished off by a touchdown by the New York Giants. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Allen and the Bills now with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Now Allen off the bootleg. Looking left sideline, incomplete. That one was intended for John Brown. And it's second down. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Here's Gore now running out of the gun. And once again, not much running room, if any at all. Calling no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd down. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on 3rd down.
The Bills send the punter out. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. This is taken at the 18. A terrific return. 30 yards all in all. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays.
Tate bringing it in for the Giant touchdown. Golden Tate with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game, as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. Showed some of his improv skills there, getting flushed out of the pocket, but still able to make the throw for the score.
So that means he's not a method actor?
No.
Because with the improv means break character when you need to. And in the NFL, when you have those guys chasing you, sometimes you have to break character in a big way. But I love the fact that he stayed downfield, kept his eyes up, and made the play. How many rookies do that well?
Rosas good with the extra point, and that will extend this big lead. And they're able to get the connection on the long touchdown pass, and that's one of the easiest drive summaries you'll ever see. One play, touchdown. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Buffalo offense now as they get set to take over here. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete. Patrick DeMarco, the fullback, the one he was looking for. And that'll bring up second down. Back to the air on second down. It's Allen. And he finds Beasley, complete. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be third down. Allen from the gun on third down. Oh, Allen cannot get away, and down he goes. The Bills send the punter out. He's been terrific so far.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score Giants 49, Bills nothing.
Welcome back now here in East Rutherford. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. This will be fielded at the 17. A quick feed from Tate. A very good return that time. 18 yards.
Let's go.
And time to spotlight Golden Tate. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this? But it's usually not by himself, is it?
Right.
Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
Throwing to start the drive. Bell, he's got the first down and more past midfield. There he goes, right side. Touchdown, Giants. Saquon Barkley, 65 yards as his guys continue to pour it on. And, my friend, I think it's safe to say that this game is pretty much deceased at this point. It's taken a knee, so to speak.
It is definitely this victory formation. Take the snap, take the knee, call it a night, call it a game, call it whatever. I agree with you totally. I don't think there's much left to get except for those who want to run up the score.
I knew this was over about a minute ago when you took your stat sheet and just flipped it over your shoulder in the trash can.
Yeah, that's similar to the guys cutting tape off right before the game's over. We know this thing's done.
PAT up and good by Rosas. And the lead will swell by one more. And we can break that scoring drive down pretty easily. One play, long touchdown pass into the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Rosas on to kick it away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. Now the Bills offense gets ready to head back onto the field. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
A nice-looking play to start the drive down the middle and complete. And mark him down way up close to the 40 at the 39. A good pickup there, 21 yards. From up near the 40 now after the big play to start. Here's another 1st and 10. Now Allen. And the grab by Croft. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Cole Beasley, the intended target. Third down here. The Bills on third down. They're struggling. 0 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 8. Allen going to throw. And that is incomplete. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense, they're just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they've blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
Might have needed just one more block as it stands, 37-yard return. The Giants offense at the line, ready to begin their next drive. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. These guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
Oh, bowls right over him. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Flush to his right. He's going to take off with it. Bell sheds him off. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down.
Now, those are the ones that hurt defensively. You do everything right. Excellent pressure, good coverage downfield, and then he slips out the back door and turns it into a nice gain.
Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Back to throw. Bell rolling to his right. Under pressure now, and he's going to go down just inside the 5-yard line.
They cannot hold us down. We're going to keep getting sacks.
So it's Giants football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 2nd and goal now as they look to add a few more points here onto their total. 2nd and 4. And he's going to go down again.
So once again, they dial up the pressure and get home and get a sack. It brings up a 3rd and long, but it's really not an unmakeable one, especially considering they just gave up back-to-back sacks.
So 1st and 2nd down went in the wrong direction. They'll try to do better here on 3rd and 13. Looking to throw. Bell. Escaping the pressure right. Under pressure again, and down he goes again.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long. Why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking. But to me, it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and it leads to a play-action sack. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
After the field goal, here's Rosas to kick it away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Bills come to the line to start their next drive. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest.
Don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Marcus Golden leading the surge there as he drops him for a loss of 6. So after the sack, Allen and the Bills with work to do on 3rd and long. On 3rd and long, it's Allen. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Elsewhere, they're into the 4th at FedEx Field. Now, you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. Ezekiel Elliott moving ever so close to a 100-yard game. He is at 97 right now. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Dancing to his left. Going for it all. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down. So a victory here for the men in blue, the New York Giants. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, off a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory. So for the Giants, it's a win here in their home opener as they move to 2-0. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meanwhile, for Buffalo, they'll drop to 0-2. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week.